From what I could gather from Costa currently in the standings, I believe 17th place. Even if X3 and 1 is good enough to make the top 8, I doubt it will be Matt. He'll need some help with the tiebreaker. So I think Costa's in a spot where he needs to double win.
Swiftwater Cliffs into Ornithopters, where Enzmnn's going to start. Now, Costa is very well versed in what players are playing and what decks look like. So to see an Ornithopter on turn 1 off of a blue-red duel, you know what you're up against right away. Maybe he's trying to catch an Insult Artifact here with his Thoughtseize. Doesn't look like Enzmnn has one. He's got a Phyrexian Revoker, a Whirler Rogue, a Darksteel Citadel, a Hangerback Walker, along with an island over there.
Enzmnn's potentially in some trouble already. Costa can select Hangerback Walker out of this hand, and if Costa has a sweeper to play towards, Enzmnn's hand is just nothing but slow threats.
Yep.
Everything would get swept, would get caught up in that.
I don't want to ignore the Tomb of the Spirit Dragon in hand for Enzmnn as well. It's just not a card that plays a big role in this matchup. And the aggro mirrors and the Blue Ornithopters mirror, very, very big deal. But in this particular matchup, not going to matter very much. Costa will play a Temple of Enlightenment post Thoughtseize. Take a look at that top card. Looks like he's going to leave it on top. We're going to head back Enzmnn's way. Enzmnn will take a draw step. Looks like he picked up a copy of Shivan Reef. There is Darksteel Citadel. Now here comes Phyrexian Revoker. We'll see what Enzmnn wants to name with this card.
I'm going to guess Ashiok Nightmare Weaver.
Not a bad name, but he's going to go with Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
Sure,
also
acceptable.
Perfectly fine name.
I'd be very worried about Ashiok given Enzmnn's start and hand here, but if he thinks it's more likely that Jace is in the deck, which is a reasonable guess.
Yep. Pluto Delta here from Costa. He's going to sacrifice and get himself a basic Swamp. We know that Matt has another copy of Thoughtseize in hand. So perhaps it's time to fire that off. It looks like he will. There's a Whirler Rogue over there, and the rest are just lands. So Tomb of the Spirit Dragon, Island, and a Shivan Reef over there for Enzmnn. Enzmnn start very slow. But this deck can be very, very explosive. A card like Chief of the Foundry, which was just peeled, is going to be countered via Silumgar Scorn. Costa revealing Dragonlord Ojutai, so it'll only be an attack here for 2. And now we head back Costa's way. Costa, however, does not have a land to play.
Still on Dissolve and Hero's Downfall,
Yep.
so Costa's got a lot of time to draw out of this. Especially since Enzmnn isn't really setting the world on fire with his clock right now.
Well, what about this backup Ornithopter?
Insurance.
What do you think about that?
Just want to make sure.
I think you have to play it, honestly, because if he draws a Chief of the Foundry, he's going to want to play that and get in 2 points of damage.
Additional Foul Tongue Invocation insurance.
Very important. Costa at 11 here. Enzmnn going to activate Tomb of the Spirit Dragon to gain a little bit of life. Whirler Rogue, the draw. There's a Shivan Reef.
Not the easiest card to pronounce.
Whirler Rogue?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a tongue tire, yeah. It's going to get dissolved. A lot easier to announce. Costa will scry. Ornithopter, that's going to hold steady.
Coward!
Yeah. I don't approve of this behavior.
Attack with it!
Dig through time here from Costa. Perhaps this is going to find some lands. Patrick, really an encouraging attack here from Odin. Costa going to take a look at the top 7 cards.
If Enzmnn's not careful, that Ornithopter is not going to attack or block the whole game.
It's true. And then what did it even do?
Right. If you're not going to attack with O2 Ornithopters, why are you even showing up to the tournament, you know?
It's another valid argument. Dismal Backwater, Island, a couple other cards here, Haven of the Spirit Dragon. You have to imagine Costa's going to be looking for some lands with this dig through time, and I think he's found 2 that he's happy with. Because the only thing he's missing from his hand right now are lands.
Yeah, Enzmnn has not really represented strength here. Costa knows about his hand. Not a lot going on over there. And I think he just wants to make his land drops over to Dragonlord Ojutai. I think that he would keep a sweeper as insurance if one came up. But in the absence of that, I think he just wants lands.
Yeah, if Enzmnn peels Insult Artifact this turn, though, things change quite a bit. Now, he did draw a copy of Hangerback Walker, which is also a pretty good draw. So he's able to deploy this for 2. And now pass the turn back over to Costa, who will draw. Picked up a copy of Caves of Koilos. I think we're going to see Dragonlord Ojutai, and we will. So the 5/4 flyer is here. Enzmnn will draw a card. The thing about this Blue Ornithopters deck is, even though it feels like it's out of the game, running Shrapnel Blast all of a sudden gets you right back into the game.
Yes, the deck does have more reach than people appreciate.
Now there's the other Ornithopter.
Held on to it as long as he could.
Now here's Chief of the Foundry. So Enzmnn is actually building towards something here. Costa will draw. Another Dragonlord Ojutai. He's got 2 of those in his hand to go on with the Hero's Downfall and the Caves of Koilos.
And we might see one of these Dragonlord Ojutais cashed in basically for vigilance this turn.
I could see that.
We may see an attack and then Costa play a new one post-combat.
It is certainly not the prettiest of plays, but it is a play. Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. Ornithopter's going to chump block. There's Caves of Koilos. And Costa just going to pass the turn back. So there's Hero's Downfall. That's going to take care of the Chief of the Foundry. Hangerback Walker grows up into a 3/3. Is there an Ensoul Artifact? Is there a Shrapnel Blast here for Odin Enzmnn? That's the question. That's what Costa has to be wary of. Costa going to fall down to 9 now. It was just an island. Nothing too scary there. Costa going to untap. He'll draw. Thought sees the draw. Here comes the Dragonlord Ojutai. Enzmnn blocking again. Maybe now we see the replacement Dragonlord Ojutai?
Well, I don't know if Costa necessarily wants to block the Hangerback Walker because I think he's better served having Enzmnn have a 3/3 than 3/1/1 flyers when he's trying to connect with Dragonlord Ojutai to close out the game.
Sure. Tomb of the Spirit Dragon will gain Enzmnn a life. He's up to 23.
Nice.
There's a Ghost Fireblade. Might be blocking now. But again, blocking here is kind of tough. I mean, this is an attack for 5.
So if he blocks, then 3/1/1s come out. Costa can play the 3rd copy of Dragonlord Ojutai in his hand. And then even with the Ghost Fireblade, nothing can attack through Dragonlord Ojutai.
Correct. So 3 Thopters on the way.
So I think that block is good there from Costa.
I think it's a block that has to be made. Costa will draw. We know he's got another Dragonlord Ojutai, so he's going to play that. Hero's Downfall was the draw. He'll pass the turn back over to Enzmnn. Enzmnn still with some big draws available. Ensoul Artifact, for example, would be huge here.
Yeah. Another Ghost Fireblade would be huge. Looks like he's drawn in Soul.
Mm-hmm. See, in this situation, I think you tune up that Darksteel Citadel. You can move Ghost Fireblade onto a Thopter.
I like Ghost Fireblade on the Ensouled creature.
Why bother? It's not like it can die.
Right, but at this point you're putting Costa in the Abyss. The problem that I have with this play is now Costa, if you put it on the Ghost Fireblade, he has to chump, or on the Darksteel Citadel, he has to chump that. This way, Costa doesn't die and gets an attack in with Dragonlord Ojutai.
Okay, makes sense.
I would have just put him in the Abyss there.
Silumgar the draw. That's actually a pretty big draw. See how this lines up. Yep, so that's going to attack. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, that's a huge draw.
Yep.
I mean, Costa still needs help. He's facing down a 7/7 indestructible creature.
There's a Languish in there. Thoughtseize and an Urborg. Silumgar is going to be on chump blocking duty, which is pretty tough for that to do because it's a 3/7. We've seen Silumgar stabilize a lot of people this weekend.
But at least Costa is drawing to Foul Tongue Invocation.
Yep.
He's gotten to that point at least.
Good to have outs.
And this is why I think it was so critical for Enzmnn last turn to force the block with Dragonlord Ojutai.
You recognize that right away. Those cards will go to the bottom. Costa can play the Urborg, but not Thoughtseize, of course. So Enzmnn will draw. This is a big draw here for Odin. He'll attack. Costa has the block, of course. Enzmnn, all he can do is pass the turn back. So Foul Tongue Invocation is a live draw here. Caves of Koilos, that's not it.
A lot of looks at it.
Indeed. Silumgar Scorn. Among a bunch of other cards. I don't think he hit. I think 2 Scorns and a Temple. Yep, not what the doctor ordered.
It needs to be a Foul Tongue Invocation, a flyer, or nothing.
Yep. And it is nothing. So, Odin Enzmnn is going to win game number 1 here over Matt Costa. Timely Ensoul Artifact. allows him to turn the corner and get the job done. So Blue-Red Thopter's up a game here over Esper Dragons early in round number 14.
Yeah, but you can see the power of Blue-Red Thopters there. Got nothing going on, but just got that one of those high-impact draws and then Soul Artifact, and Costa couldn't find an answer in time.
To the sideboards we're going to go, and we'll start with Matt Costa and his Crowan Horse, his 3 Jace Vryn's Prodigy, 2 Ashiok's, along with 2 copies of Tassiger, and Ugin the Spirit Dragon, 2 Duress, a Foul-Tongue Invocation of Bile-Blight, and 2 Pharikis Cures. I actually think the horse might be okay here.
Well, it's tough to give a deck built around artifact synergies in a Crowan Horse.
It is.
But
it is.
Costa is a plucky chap, so I wouldn't rule it out. I think the Bile-Blight, the Pharikis Cures, the Foul-Tongue Invocation, they're all very good for this matchup. We're going to see those for sure.
I will say, you know, if he had a horsey out there that was just dumping out 1/1s, you could chump block that and Soul Artifact all day.
It's true.
So, could be an option here. What do we see for Enzmnn in his sideboard?
4 Rose, 3 Thopter Spy Network, Negate, 3 Disdainful Stroke, 3 Seismic Rusher, and a Tomb of the Spirit Dragon. Really good sideboard here. I think the 3 copies of Thopter Spy Network, the 3 copies of Disdainful Stroke, and then Negate will all come in.
All solid options.
All very good cards.
Those are the options there for both players. Game number 2 will be underway. Matt Costa will be on the play with his Esper Dragons deck, not able to stabilize that particular game that we just watched. However, in the meantime, we'll talk about the Summer Creature Collection here with Star City Games. You can find playmats, sleeves, and bundles of some of your favorite game night creatures.
Yeah, head over to starcitygames.com/creature collection. Check out all the items we have available. You see the Summer Collection here with the Monkey, the Piglet, the Kraken, and the Deathrite Shaman. All available. Playmats, sleeves, bundles. Right now over starcitygames.com/creature collection, or head over to our dealer booth at any of our opens or any Grand Prix that we're vending at.
You can look forward to the Fall Creature Collection as well, which will include our Hippo Friend.
Yep.
Our Otter. And then 2 mystery ones, whatever the game night is for December. And, most importantly, a new parody.
Very exciting.
I know Deathrite Shaman is a very popular one, but the next one, I think everyone's going to like. Now, I can't tell you what it is. I know what it is. Can't tell you what it is. You're going to have to wait for that, just like everybody else, Patrick, okay?
So now the question, does Costa have the guts to bring in the Crowan Horse?
Against the artifact deck. Will he do it? You said, I quote, he is a plucky chap, unquote.
So Chief of the Foundry, that's not really a concern. Crowan Horse has got Defender. Don't have to worry about that.
True.
Shrine of Blast is not great. If that were to come up, that's not good.
Not great. Give him an artifact.
It's not great.
Giving an artifact to just throw at you.
We already questioned the Crowan Horse with Foul-Tongue Invocation being one of Costa's most important cards.
Not a combo.
Not great. Is it good with Languish? No, not really.
Nope.
But top 8 on the line here. Do you just reach deep? Come out with the Crowan Horse.
Dig out the horsey. And you know, really, I think it's almost worth it for him to bring in the horsey because of your horse pun gesture and how excited everyone was for them. We could have some more here.
If we're talking about maximizing human happiness,
which aren't we always?
There's no question that Costas to bring in the horse. Now, if he's being selfish and all he cares about is, you know, winning the tournament he's playing in, then maybe he leaves it in the sideboard.
But I think if we took a poll from our viewers at home, if they are pro or anti-horsey,
this is not even close.
They would want the horsey in. Dismal backwater here for Costa. He's at 21. There's an island. Enzmnn will just pass the turn back. Stubborn and Island hand, card that can play a huge role in this matchup. There's Jace, Vryn's Prodigy.
Out of the board, anticipating Enzmnn's going to be very light on creature removal. Enzmnn wants to shrapnel blast that. I'm sure Costa's fine with it.
By all means. There's a Chivalry. Very slow start here for Odin. Costa will draw. Jace will go active. Languish the draw. Looks like a pretty good start here for Matthew Costa. He'll discard a Caves of Kolos. There's a Haven of the Spirit Dragon. Kick it over. Darksteel Citadel here for Enzmnn. So he'll play that. There's a Ghost Fireblade. Looks to be a rather reactive hand here for Odin, though he does appear to have a copy of Thopter Spy Network in hand.
Yes. And with the Darksteel Citadel to go along with it.
So it's not all reactivity. Bile-Blight the discard, Temple and Enlightenment, the land. Costa with a hero's downfall at the ready. There's a Thopter Spy Network. And now here's an Ornithopter.
Tests the waters with the Spy Network and then drops the hammer with the Ornithopter when the coast is clear.
Clearing a path for the O2.
Played him like a fiddle.
Something like that.
This card's a huge long-term concern here for Costa.
Yeah, this is going to be a big problem. Hero's downfall takes down the Ornithopter. Get the O2 out of here. Here's Jace. Costa going to discard Haven of the Spirit Dragon. There's a Temple. Top card going to go to the bottom. Now, here comes a Thopter from the Spy Network.
And now that really reactive hand that we were critical of for Enzmnn looks very good now. A lot of counter spells to back up this copy of Thopter Spy Network. Sample Stroke, Negate, among other options.
Stubborn Denial over there too. Jace gonna go active. Dismal Backwater the draw. Might be time to discard one of those Slumgar Scorns, yeah.
Yeah, right now Costa needs to start fighting over the board. Counter spells are not that helpful.
Jace is gonna tick up. There's Dismal Backwater. Another Spy Network. What's the plan here for Costa to get out of this situation? This seems real tough.
He's got to lock up the board, most likely with Dragonlord Silumgar. That's the plan here.
Okay.
You fend off Enzmnn for as long as you can. But Dragonlord Silumgar can do a lot to invalidate Thopter Spy Network. Unfortunately, Enzmnn has Disdainful Stroke. I think it's going to be hard for Costa to punch through one of his big plays in this game. Costa's got time to work with. You know, he's got Bioblade, he's got Jace. He's got some tools to fight this stuff. You can also allow Enzmnn to draw for a little while and then use Bioblade as a catch-up. Destroy all the Thopters,
make him restart again.
Slow down. I think Costa probably feels like right now it's a losing fight for him to just try to kill a Thopter each turn.
Well, I just don't think that's what it can be about.
Right. He's got to take some hits here, let Enzmnn find some cards, and hope that Costa can punch through his sweepers, his high-impact cards to mitigate the network for as long as possible.
There's another Ghost Fireblade. A card that I think is going to see a lot of play in Battle for Zendikar. Works out great with the Void.
They are colorless, technically.
Technically, they are. What's next here for Enzmnn? He'll equip that Thopter token. We're going to head back Costa's way. Dismal Backwater the draw. Dismal Backwater the play. Costa will gain a life. See what he can do with Jace here. I think our plan, I think I know what our plan might be.
You think he might be trying to go ultimate with Jace here?
I think that might be the strategy here for Costa. Because a lot of his cards are getting bad fast, like Foul Tongue Invocation, Slumgar Scorn.
And he probably can't hold on to the game for a million turns because Enzmnn's drawing a lot of cards. But if Enzmnn's focus is on drawing cards with Thopter Spy Network and attacking and holding up this shield of counters, Costa may be able to just plus Jace, get an emblem, and cast some stuff.
And go to work, yeah.
Enzmnn will have already dug himself quite the hole with all the cards he's drawing off of Thopter Spy Network.
Perhaps, yes. Now, Enzmnn's hand is stock loaded. If I'm Odin, I'm thrilled with where I'm at in this game. Gonna equip Ghost Fireblade.
I think this is an effort here for Enzmnn to try to get Stubborn Denial turned on. Gets a 5 power creature this way.
Sure.
Also, if this resolves, then it means that Bioblight isn't a full wipe. He gets to keep a 5/5.
Yep. So this is an attempt to equip, it looks like. To put 2 Ghostfire Blades on 1 Thopter. Costa would like to attempt a Bioblight. Enzmnn does have Negate in hand.
Also has Shrapnel Blast.
Mm-hmm.
He could, for example, try to Shrapnel Blast off the Thopter in question. The Ghostfire Blade that he's trying to equip would stay on the 3/3.
Yep.
He could then move the other Ghostfire Blade onto that, still have a blue up for Stubborn Denial, and deal quite a bit of damage for his trouble.
Indeed. Looks like it's going to be it'll be Shrapnel Blast, actually. Going to go after Jace.
And I like this play from Enzmnn because if you're already close enough to wanting to counter this Bioblight that you would consider using Negate, you might as well turn Shrapnel Blast into a counterspell. Because Enzmnn's counterspells are precious. He needs as many of them as he can get his hands on.
Now Ghostfire Blade's going to go over here. So this one was targeted by Jace. However, still a pretty healthy attack, and now Jace is going to bite the dust. And now I don't know what Costa's plan is.
Yep.
Now this gets really hard.
I think it has to just be get Dragon Lord Salumgar to resolve as soon as possible. From there, the game it's not easy by any means, but it's at least manageable on the board. But just random removal spells, they're not going to be much help.
Yeah, it looks like it might just be all about Salumgar the Drifting Death now.
And now you look at Enzmnn's hand, Disdainful Stroke, multiple copies of Stubborn Denial with a 5/5 in play, Negate. He's got a wall up, hitting Costa for a lot of damage, drawing cards. Looks very well situated this game.
Yeah. Looks like he may have forgotten to draw a card off his Thopter Spy Network hit. A minor thing given how far ahead he is in this game, but you don't ever want to pass up on cards if you can help it. Enzmnn will get another Thopter. Now keep in mind with Thopter Spy Network, you only get to draw 1. It's not like buying a Thassa.
Right, it just looks, have you dealt combat damage with an artifact creature? If so, draw a card. 1 artifact, 1,000 artifacts, doesn't matter.
Here come the beatdowns again. So here's an attack for 7. Enzmnn remembers this time with the Thopter Spy Network. Picked up another copy of Stubborn Denial. And with this much permission in his hand, I think it's impossible for Matt Costa to win.
This is a wall of counterspells.
Yeah. I got no idea how Costa can work his way through this. Discarding another Thopter Spy Network certainly doesn't need it. Costa, I think, might be realizing that his tournament is coming to a close here. It's been one heck of a comeback for him, too, because he picked up a couple losses early yesterday. But I just don't know how he can get himself out of this situation. It just seems so tough.
Had a strong opening hand, but didn't have double blue ready on the 4th turn of the game. Had some awkwardness with his lands that came into play tapped. It's been stuck in a Thopter Spy Network, and that's been the whole game.
Yeah.
Costa's deck does not easily remove enchantments from the table. And this card, in the long term, is very hard for Costa to play through unless he has Salumgar the Drifting Death. Costa hasn't been able to find it. Even if he did find it, I doubt he would be able to resolve it, given the wall that Enzmnn has up. And I think this turn 4 Thopter Spy Network is going to determine the whole game in the match.
And what's notable here, too, is that if you think about how this game was played, Enzmnn didn't do anything the first couple of turns.
He literally said go, go, go for the first 3 turns.
Nothing doing, nothing impressive going on. And I was a little bit concerned about that slow of a start if he'd even be able to get going. But he was able to do more than that. And now if you're Costa, you're hoping that he doesn't have anything going on. You're hoping a card like Languish will resolve here to give you some more time. But Enzmnn could pick a counterspell at random.
He could... Enzmnn could counter this or not counter this. It would be fine either way.
Yeah. Doesn't even kill one of the tokens.
Yeah.
Because one of them's a 5/5 right now. So Stabilization is ferocious at this point. We'll see. It looks like maybe a little conversation with the table judge. And it looks like Costa is looking for the Oracle text on stubborn denial.
I think what Costa may be asking here is if I can downfall the 5/5 in response, does this become force spike? And then can I just pay for the languish?
Sure.
And my understanding is that ferocious cards just look on resolution.
Well, that is an important question here for Matt. So he's going to try to Hero's Downfall here so that he can pay for the languish. Unfortunately for him, another stubborn denial. Stop this one too. So bye-bye Hero's Downfall. Bye-bye languish. Costa will pass the turn back. New Thopter. Looks like 8 points of damage coming over here for Enzmnn. And that looks like it is going to do it. Odin Enzmnn is going to win this match here over Matt Costa 2-0. Blue-Red Thopters will take care of Esper Dragons. And though Blue-Red Thopter is a deck that has really dropped off after the Pro Tour, one that we have not seen very much of at all here on the Open Series, Odin Enzmnn is one match away from making the top 8. And oh, by the way, of the 106 competitors playing here in day number 2, he's our only Blue-Red Thopters player.
Yeah, he's going to have a winning in next round most likely. Maybe he can draw on if his tiebreakers are near the top. I doubt it. Probably going to have to just play the next round. But was very impressive watching him win both those games because we felt at various points in both games that Enzmnn had fallen so far behind that he might not be able to catch up. But you saw the power of some of the high and back cards in the deck. In Soul Artifact on Darksteel Citadel was something that Costa just couldn't work around in the first game. And then he's the beatdown deck in this matchup. Went land go against Esper Dragons. You would assume that's just the death knell. No way he can play through that.
Yep.
I was able to get Thopter Spy Network to resolve and really didn't